it's time, once again, for our viewer comments. So, you are not just teaching me about how to redesign Casios and G-Shocks. Some of you are even teaching me proper grammar. Look at what 17 CMM Mittel Rare Minen Werfer 81 has to say about the glycine airman review that I had like 8 decades ago. It says the plural of man is men, not mans. Yes, you're right. Thank you. But I'm a pirate, so I refuse to accept your advice. I'm still going to call them glycine airmans. Right? I have to keep in character too. I have my own spirit of rebelliousness. Basil's Basils just looked and he was really anticipating. I don't know what I'm going to say. Ocean Zoo 6585 said he likes the case and the dial designs, but the strap is a big question for me. Who thinks it's a good idea to put a flapping strap on a dive watch? It's going to come loose too easy. Well, Ocean Zoo 6585, actually it's not. I like this strap by Tissot, the way they did it. It's not just as or even more comfortable than your regular tropical strap or rubber straps that you'd see on dive watches, but at the same time it really is securing the watch really well. They're using the same pins. Tissot, I don't know if they're titanium, but they are metal pins on both ends, and they really dig into the hole of the strap, and you have enough strap holes to fasten it to, so it could fit your wrist very, very nicely and very tightly. And the more fitting it is on your wrist, the more tension it has as it pulls back up with its elasticity, and that kind of creates also an additional friction and hold to it. So I'm pretty confident it's going to hold itself, and at the same time it has that loop and the strap on the strap, that rubber fastening to each other, also creates enough friction for it to hold. So if you ever get one, Ocean Zoo 65, have some confidence on it, on wearing it. Even if you dive with it, it's going to stay on your wrist very, very easily, if not even more compared to other watches. Also on the new Sideral, not everyone is liking it, even though I mentioned that it's one of the hottest Tissot watches in recent weeks. Ilanto says it's atrocious. Maybe it is, at least for us. I'll be honest, I'm not really in love with it, but I like it enough. But not at least enough not to call it atrocious, as Alianto says here. But that is very subjective. Some people will not like this kind of design, and it kind of looks really dated, if you ask me. With all of those colors on the dial and the segmentations, it really is dated, and that may be contributing to Alianto's experience there. Now, we were reviewing the Narede from Venetianico earlier. We reviewed previous Venetianico Narede, the Tungsteno. And here's what Lock Handle 8276 has to say about that. I don't like that it's a limited model. This watch has a lot of potential if it can come in smaller sizes also, and there needs to be a 39.5mm version which uses an SW300, so it can also be a bit thinner. Well, it already is a bit thinner now if you look at it, but this is the ceramic version. Remember that one that I reviewed earlier was the tungsten version, which is tremendously stunning, especially with that polished bezel, the tungsten polished bezel that's virtually unscratchable. And I agree, This model should not be limited. But I think Venetianico will re-release this given enough interest on it. It's something that they've executed adamantly, and I do want to see it in a 38 millimeter version, and maybe like, you know, raise the box sapphire crystal a little bit more. Well, make it a box sapphire crystal instead of a flat crystal. That could be another suggestion. Venetianico, I know you're listening, so listen to what Lock Handle 8276 has to say. Next, Reese Brookhoven 3962 says, I see a lot of ads for this brand. Are they worth looking? He's talking about the Venetianico. Are they worth looking into, and are they like other BS brands? Look, I'm not gonna fault a brand for exposing themselves to all of these micro marketing strategies, especially in Facebook and social media, and even in YouTube and some of those videos. And well, this channel is built around the marketing of these micro brands. That doesn't mean that they are cheap or inferior watches. Maybe Reese here had an experience with other watches who's been publicizing themselves in Facebook or in social media, and that's maybe creating an impression on himself that they are BS brands, as he put it. But what I can say is that Venetianico is one of the best quality micro brands out there, despite of what other YouTubers may have to say. I think they're one of the best compared to the other micro brands that I've reviewed. You know, and I've heard also other micro brands stories, and at the very least, Venetianico is a little bit more refined compared to many of them, and they have their integrity too. They don't want their watches to be Swiss made, for example, or to be tagged as Swiss made. They're proud to be a Venice brand, and I think there's so much character to the brand that not only elevates it from other BS brands, but at the same time it reflects also in the design that they have. And Venetianico really is worth looking into, despite the impression of being a cheaper brand because of that marketing. I don't see that personally, but Reese does. But Reese, rest assured, it's a really good brand, and they're not paying me to say that, actually, right? They're not perfect. They have their faults, as what you've seen in my past reviews, but they're really good and really refined. I also have other ideas with regards to their marketing. I feel that they shouldn't discount their watches so often and so quickly. That, for example, that I think they could improve on. If they do that, they stick to their guns, I think people will buy their brands, and that could actually elevate their impression even more. That I find is something that they could work on. I don't think that they should discount their watches immediately, especially after launching them. But it's worth looking. Venetianico is worth looking. Dominic Francis 9808 says, don't get rid of the Lego camera stand. We all love it. Loads of character, love, heart shape, whatever. Yes, so it seems that this mic stand has more love. It's getting more love than the host itself. I'm almost nearly going to ban you from the show for that, but he loves the Lego stand. Actually, I want to redesign it. It's still a little flimsy from one connector, and that one gray piece kind of, you know, is annoying me. It's been there for ages. I wanted to replace that, but I couldn't find a piece that's all black. I nearly wanted to paint that so that it's all black, or maybe I'll just like add more gray accents here and there so that it balances out the design. But anyway, yes, I'm still going to use this mic for now, especially when I banned my wife from the show. So she's even more adamant at not giving me funds to buy another mic. Anyway, sad.